My husband died on a Friday morning. My daughter was born that same afternoon. She weighed 2 pounds, 4 ounces, and she wasn't breathing on her own. And 4 days later, my parents went to Hawaii. That's the story. But it doesn't end there, because 4 years after I blocked their numbers and never looked back, my brother showed up at a Starbucks with a leather folder, a notary stamp, and $1.65 million worth of reasons to reopen every wound I'd spent years stitching shut. So let's go back to the beginning. February 12, 2021. A Friday. I woke up and Ben was already gone. He always left early to beat the Charlotte traffic. Middle school teachers don't get to be late. I remember rolling over, seeing his side of the bed still warm. His coffee mug on the counter, half full. His jacket on the chair. He'd forgotten it. It was 28 degrees outside. I was 28 weeks pregnant. June, we'd already named her, was kicking. I put my hand on my stomach and thought, 12 more weeks. Just 12 more weeks and we'd be a real family. My phone rang just after 6. Unknown number. Something made me pick up. Ma'am, are you the wife of Benjamin Mercer? The voice was calm. Professional. The kind of calm that only exists when something terrible has already happened and the person on the other end has been trained not to fall apart while they tell you. Yes. Who is this? This is Mecklenburg County Emergency Dispatch. There's been an accident on I-77 North. Your husband's vehicle was involved. He's being transported to Atrium Health. You need to come now. I don't remember getting dressed. I don't remember driving. I just remember the coffee mug on the counter. And thinking, he forgot his jacket. He'll be cold. I got to the hospital before 7. They wouldn't let me into the emergency room. A nurse, I don't remember her face, just her badge, Lynn RN, put her hand on my shoulder and said they were doing everything they could. Less than an hour later, a doctor came out. Young, maybe 30. Blood on his scrubs. He didn't say anything at first. He just looked at me, and I knew. We did everything we could. The impact was severe. I'm so sorry. Is there anyone we can call for you? I opened my mouth to answer. That's when the first contraction hit. I doubled over. Someone was shouting. I heard the words labor and 28 weeks and then I was in a wheelchair and people were running and all I could think was, this isn't real. This isn't happening. Ben died 43 minutes after the accident. I went into labor 3 hours after he left for work. That afternoon, June Mercer was born via emergency C-section. 2 pounds, 4 ounces. 12 weeks early. She didn't cry. I woke up in a recovery room alone. No Ben. No baby. Just machines beeping and fluorescent lights humming. Dr. Carter came in and sat down next to my bed, not across from it. I still remember that detail. Your daughter is in the NICU. She's on a ventilator. We're monitoring her for brain bleeds and lung development. Babies born at 28 weeks have a 90% survival rate, but complications are almost guaranteed. Weeks, maybe months. She handed me a Polaroid photo. June was smaller than my hand. Tubes and wires everywhere. I couldn't even see her face. Can I see her? Soon. You need to rest. You lost a lot of blood. That evening, someone from hospital billing knocked on my door. I want you to sit with that. The same evening, I had just lost my husband. I had just given birth 12 weeks early. And someone knocked to talk about money. Her name was Linda. Folder, calculator, sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. Your daughter's NICU care costs $9,800 per day. We're estimating an 8 to 10 week stay. Your husband's insurance has a $300,000 annual maximum. Your C-section has already used $8,500 of your out-of-pocket. She pushed a paper across the desk. We need $38,000 by Monday at 5 p.m. If we don't receive payment, hospital policy requires us to transfer June to UNC Medical Center in Chapel Hill. 2 hours away. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, they finally let me into the NICU. Level 3, the most critical cases. June was in position 4, by the window. A nurse named Clara showed me how to reach through the porthole openings. Just be gentle. Her skin is very fragile. Talk to her. She knows your voice. I put my finger in June's palm. She grabbed it. I know it was just a reflex. Babies do that. But in that moment, it felt like she was saying, I'm here. I'm fighting. I started crying. The alarm on her ventilator went off immediately. Her oxygen is dropping. Step back, please. I watched them adjust her settings. Watched the numbers climb back up. Watched my daughter fight for every breath. 2 pounds, 4 ounces. $38,000. 72 hours. I went back to my room and opened my laptop. Started a GoFundMe. Posted something true. My name is Abigail Mercer. Yesterday, I lost my husband. Hours later, I gave birth to our daughter June at 28 weeks. She's fighting for her life in the NICU. Anything helps. Please share. Within 6 hours, $3,240 from 41 people. Strangers, mostly. I needed $38,000. I looked at my phone and pressed call on Dad. Voicemail. Hi, you've reached Frank Whitfield. I'm probably out on the golf course or enjoying retirement. Leave a message. Cheerful. Relaxed. Dad, it's Abigail. Ben died yesterday. I had the baby. She's in the NICU. I need help. Please call me back. He texted 20 minutes later. Saw your call. Busy right now. Call you tonight. That evening, my mother called. Oh, honey. I'm so sorry about Ben, about the baby. Mom, I need help. The hospital needs $38,000 by Monday or they're transferring June 2 hours away. I don't have that kind of money. Ben's life insurance takes 6 to 8 weeks to process. I just need a bridge loan. I'll pay you back. Abigail, that's a lot of money. I know. But Mom, this is your granddaughter. She might not survive the transfer. Please. Silence. Let me talk to your father. I'll call you back tomorrow. The call lasted less than 5 minutes. She didn't say I love you before she hung up. That was the first time I noticed. Over the next 2 days, I called my parents 37 times. 37. I kept a log, maybe because I thought I'd need proof later, maybe because it was the only thing I could control. Most calls went to voicemail. Some declined after 2 rings. I left 19 voicemails. One of them went like this. Dad, please. I know you're there. I can see you've read my texts. I'm not asking for a gift. I'll sign a promissory note. June's oxygen dropped today. They're talking about surgery. Just please pick up. I made that call from the hospital cafeteria where I'd started working that morning, restocking supplies, minimum wage, just to stay in the same building as my daughter. Then Scott called. We hadn't spoken since Christmas. Abby, I heard about Ben. But Mom and Dad can't pull $38,000 out of thin air. They're on pension and Social Security. You're asking them to liquidate investments. Scott, my daughter might die. Don't be dramatic. Babies survive the NICU all the time. Ben had life insurance. You'll be fine in 2 months. I don't have 2 months. I have until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Then call a bank. Or Ben's parents. Why is this our responsibility? I could hear background noise. Laughter. A woman's voice. Are you at a restaurant right now? A pause. I'm having lunch with Ashley. That's not the... My husband is dead. My daughter is on a ventilator. And you're at lunch. Abby, I can't drop everything because you're in crisis. I'm not asking you to drop everything. I'm asking you to help me get a loan that I will pay back with interest. Look, I'll talk to them. But manage your expectations. He hung up. I called 14 more times that day. Every single one declined within 2 rings. Late that night, my mother texted. Abigail, stop calling. You're being unreasonable. We'll talk when you calm down. I was sitting in the NICU family room. June had stabilized, barely. Her retinopathy was getting worse. They were already talking about surgery and possible blindness. Unreasonable. I needed $38,000 to keep my daughter alive, and I was being unreasonable. Monday. Deadline day. Scott called early. I talked to them. Here's the situation. I was sitting next to June's incubator. Her oxygen had dropped twice overnight. The nurse had told me to prepare for the possibility of brain damage. They have a trip to Hawaii leaving Friday, Scott said. Planned since last May. The deposit alone was $6,000 non-refundable. Dad worked 40 years for this retirement trip. Abby, they're 65 and 63. You're 28. You'll recover from this. You'll recover from this. Even if they gave you $6,000, you'd still be short $32,000. So what's the point? The point is showing up. The point is trying. That's emotional reasoning. I'm talking about practical reality. I looked at June through the incubator glass. Are you seriously telling me they're choosing a vacation over their granddaughter's life? Don't twist it like that. I hung up. I called Ben's mother in Florida. She cried and wired me $2,500, everything in their checking account. I called Wells Fargo. Denied. I looked up Ben's car trade-in value. Net $2,600 after the loan balance. I did the math. Checking account, joint account, Ben's parents, car, GoFundMe, everything I had. Total, $17,573. I needed $38,000. I called my mother one last time. She answered on the third ring. Abigail, honey, I feel terrible, but we can't keep bailing you out. Bailing me out? You gave Scott $40,000 for his condo. That was different. He paid us back. So will I. With interest. Frankly, your tone is very off-putting. Then I heard it in the background. A zipper. She was packing. Are you packing for Hawaii right now? While we're on the phone? My daughter is on a ventilator. My husband is dead. We'll check in when we get back. Try to calm down. Everything will work out. She hung up. I sat in the NICU family room with my phone in my hand and felt something go very quiet inside me. Not broken. Just decided. Strangers saved us. The Little Fighters Foundation approved a $15,000 grant. Emergency Medicaid started processing. I sold everything, my wedding ring for $3,200, Ben's laptop, the TV, furniture, his clothes. I cobbled together enough to bridge the gap. We made it past the deadline. 4 days later, late at night, I was home for the first time since the accident when my email pinged. From frank.whitfield@gmail.com. Subject, emergency. Abigail. We feel terrible, but you're not seeing the bigger picture. We worked our entire lives for this trip. You asking us to cancel and lose $6,000 is frankly selfish. We raised you to be more resourceful. Ben had life insurance. You'll be fine. We'll send $500 when we get home. We love you, but we can't throw money away because you didn't plan ahead. There was an attachment. I clicked it. My parents at a resort pool. My mother in a flowered dress, my tie in hand. My father in a Hawaiian shirt, arm around her, smiling. Caption, first sunset in paradise. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I hit reply and wrote without stopping. Dad, don't send the $500. Don't call. Don't write. You chose a vacation over your granddaughter's life. I will remember that every single day for the rest of mine. You're not my parents anymore, and you're not her grandparents. Enjoy your sunset. Abigail. My father replied within minutes, you're being irrational. We'll talk when you're thinking clearly. I didn't open it. I blocked all 3 of them. Unfriended them on Facebook. Closed the GoFundMe, final total $8,100 from 63 strangers. My contact list went from 487 to 484. I felt lighter than I had in weeks. In May, after 89 days in the NICU, June came home. 5 pounds, 8 ounces. Still on oxygen. Glasses for the retinopathy. Physical therapy twice a week. But she was alive. And she was mine. When Ben's life insurance arrived, $180,000, I bought a small 2-bedroom house in Concord. When the realtor asked for emergency contacts and said parents, I told her, I don't have parents. She looked at me strangely but didn't ask. I got a job in medical billing. Then insurance claims processing, $52,000 a year. The same industry my father spent 40 years in. Every day I processed claims and denial codes and I thought about $38,000. The years were quiet. June hit every milestone late, but she hit them all. She walked, talked, made friends, got her glasses. When she was 3, she asked why she didn't have a grandma and grandpa on my side. It's complicated, baby. She accepted that. Kids do sometimes. Every year on Ben's anniversary, I wrote him a letter. Kept them in a box. In the 4th one I wrote, I think we're going to be okay. I hope I'm making you proud. 4 years of silence. I didn't Google my parents. Didn't check their Facebook. I just built my life. September 2025. June started pre-kindergarten. That evening, while she was telling me about her new friend Sophie and a block tower they built, my phone rang. Unknown number. Scottsdale, Arizona. Abby. It's Scott. Don't hang up. 4.5 years. Not one word. I have bad news. Mom and Dad are dead. An accident in the Outer Banks. Dad may have had a heart attack. The car went off Bonner Bridge. They both died instantly. I looked at June across the table, twirling spaghetti, humming. Why are you calling me, Scott? Because you're still their daughter. There's an estate. We need to talk. That night I Googled my father's obituary. They are survived by their son, Scott Whitfield. Not their children. Just Scott. Even in death, I didn't exist. Friday morning. Starbucks. I got there early. Scott walked in looking older, grayer, still in an expensive suit. He sat down, opened a leather folder. Total estate value is $1.65 million. He listed it all, the Scottsdale house, retirement accounts, investments, savings. Then he pushed a paper across to me. No will on file. Under intestate succession law, the estate splits 50/50ths. You're entitled to $825,000. I don't want it. Abby, don't be stupid. I don't want their money. He flipped several pages into the folder. It was a will, dated July 15, 2021. Notarized. Daughter Abigail Mercer is hereby excluded from any inheritance due to estrangement initiated by daughter's unreasonable demands and subsequent refusal of reconciliation. So if this exists, you get everything anyway, I said. Why am I here? Because it was never filed. I found it in Dad's safe. Legally, if I don't submit it to probate, it doesn't exist. Why wouldn't you submit it? A long pause. Because I'm not sure it's right. I laughed. Actually laughed. Then he turned to another section. An insurance policy. Death benefit, $500,000. Beneficiary, Scott Whitfield, 100%. Policy effective date, April 18, 2021. One day after I received Ben's life insurance check. I flipped to the application notes. Under purchase rationale, family legacy for financially responsible heir. Daughter estranged due to unreasonable demands. Son stable, trustworthy. He bought this policy the day after I got Ben's money, I said. He knew exactly when I got that check. And he made sure I'd never see a dime of theirs. You already got the payout, didn't you? Yes. $53,400 with interest. So you have $1.5 million from the insurance and you want another $825,000 from the estate. And you want me to sign a waiver so you don't have to fight me in court. He pushed a paper across. Waiver of inheritance rights. Sign this, walk away clean, he said. Or I submit the will to probate and make sure everyone knows you cut off your dying parents, refused reconciliation, rejected their money. You'll look like the villain. June will grow up knowing her mom chose pride over family. I stood up. I need to think about this. I didn't sleep for days. I almost signed it multiple times. $825,000. June's college fund. Her medical reserve. A paid-off mortgage. I wrote the whole list out on paper. Then I tore it up and threw it in the trash. I called a probate attorney. If the will was never filed, it's legally irrelevant, he said. You can contest it on grounds of undue influence. And that insurance policy, if your father listed you as estranged without disclosing that the estrangement stemmed from his own refusal during a documented medical emergency, that could be material misrepresentation. If I just walk away? He gets everything. You get peace. The question is what you value more. That night I wrote Ben another letter. You'd tell me to take the money for June. You'd say pride doesn't pay for college. But if I take it, am I proving Dad right, that I was selfish, unreasonable? Or am I being stupid, throwing away June's future out of stubbornness? I don't know. I miss you. A few days later, I called Scott. Same place. He arrived with the waiver, pen, and notary stamp. Ready for everything. I talked to a lawyer, I said. I have a 60% chance of winning if I contest. His face changed. Abby, don't do this. It'll cost you a fortune. I know. You're being irrational. Just like 2021. No. In 2021 I was desperate. Now I'm just done. I pushed the waiver back across the table. And signed. I'm filing a formal contest tomorrow. Undue influence, your influence. I have your emails from 2021 calling me irrational, telling them to take space. I have call logs, 41 calls in 2 days, 19 voicemails. I can prove I tried. Can you prove they did? He went pale. And I'm filing a separate claim against the insurance policy. Fraudulent application, material misrepresentation. He listed me as estranged without disclosing that the reason was his own refusal to help during a medical emergency. Abby, wait, I'll offer you $200,000 from the insurance money. I don't want your money, Scott. I want you to feel what I felt. Helpless. Abandoned. Alone. This won't change what happened. No. But it'll make sure June knows I fought. That I didn't let them win. You're doing this for revenge. I stopped. Turned back. No. I'm doing this for justice. There's a difference. I walked out. That was September. Now it's December. June and I are decorating our Christmas tree. She's almost 5. She's in pre-K, she has 2 best friends, she can read 47 sight words, and she still wears her glasses. She doesn't remember the NICU. She doesn't know she almost died. The court date is in January. I've spent $14,000 on legal fees. Every check I write to my lawyer, I think, this could have gone to June. But I keep writing them. Because this stopped being about money a long time ago. It's about the fact that you don't get to abandon someone in their darkest moment and then rewrite history to make yourself the victim. It's about making sure that when June is old enough to understand, she'll know her mother stood up. Mommy, June says, carefully hanging an ornament. Are we going to be rich? I kneel down next to her. We might get some money. We might not. But either way, we have each other. That's what matters. She thinks about it. Okay. I just want you to be happy. I look at her, this tiny person who fought so hard just to be here, who doesn't yet know how much the world asked of her before she even took her first breath. I am happy, June. I promise. And it's true. Not because of the case. Not because of the money. But because I know who I am. I'm the person who called 41 times. Who sold her wedding ring. Who worked in a hospital cafeteria to stay close to her daughter. I'm the person who kept every receipt, every voicemail, every email, not for revenge. Because I knew one day it might matter. My parents thought they could erase me with a signature on a will. Scott thought he could buy my silence with a threat. They were wrong. And whatever the court decides, whether I walk away with $825,000 or nothing at all, I'll know I stood up. I'll know I fought. I'll know that when they tried to rewrite the story, I had the receipts to prove the truth. Whatever that's worth, I'll take it. Thanks for listening. And if this story moved you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about people who refuse to be erased when life gives them every reason to stay silent. You can write someone out of your will. You cannot write them out of the truth.